Hello, dear friends and family of Henry. We are here today due to this very heartbreaking event. Our dear friend Henry has passed due to the coronavirus. Now, in the past few months, the coronavirus has really affected the entire world. But unfortunately, in this case, our dear friend Henry has lost his life to it. Our good friend Richard and many of us here in the TAS family and community has decided to come together and make this little video to share some stories of Henry, to remember this dear old friend, to remember that smile, to remember his energy. He was a great guy, he was a great father, and most importantly, he was a great member of our community.
I first met Henry when I came back to Taiwan through the Taipei American School, and especially through athletics. He had his daughter who played on the varsity, and my son played on the varsity. So because we were both at the same venues, at the same games, we got to know one another, and the parents would kind of splinter off, and we would have our post-game dinners, and as the kids got closer, the parents got closer. And you know, how do you explain Henry to somebody? I mean, he's got so many qualities, he's so unique. I think one of the things, I'm going to tell a story about Henry. As a basketball player, one of the hardest things to do is go practice by yourself. And Henry would take Stephanie to go and shoot baskets by himself or just the two of them. And it's very difficult to do that because basketball is a team sport. And to go out there by yourself or grab your dad and take you to go shoot baskets, it's very lonely. But he would do that religiously on the weekends when they were not practicing and during the off season. And what really resonated to me is that Henry was the rebounder. And those who know basketball know that as a rebounder, it's almost harder than it is to shoot the ball when you're rebounding the ball because you're running around trying to get the ball. And he probably spent more energy rebounding the ball for Steph and for Jonathan than they did shooting the ball. And that was the kind of dedication he had to his kids, to make sure that he would give it all so they would perform well on the court.
As head of school of TAS, I have the pleasure of meeting and welcoming thousands of parents each year. Some I have a chance to get to know. Henry Wang was one of them, and I joined with the Wang family and with Henry's countless friends to mourn his death from COVID-19. To his grieving family, Vivian, Stephanie, and Jonathan, I pray that over time, your grief at such a profound loss will be tempered by the sweet memories you have of him, this devoted father, dedicated husband, and wonderful friend. But please do know that the entire TAS community shares the pain of Henry's passing. It is such a great loss to the school community. Many will remember Henry best as the cheering, enthusiastic supporter at athletic events, whether they were volleyball or basketball. Henry was always the one leading the cheers, lighting up the Tiger crowd, whether it was in the Joy Gymnasium or traveling to IASIS. In fact, during season 1 IASIS this past year, he actually went to Manila to bring his enthusiasm, his cheers, his warm smile, and his support.
We all know how Henry got sick, and he caught the virus. And the reason why he caught the virus is he took off in March to go back to the US to help Stephanie pack because Emory University got shut down because of the virus. So he felt that he had to go there and help her pack and help her close up the dorms and get her back to Taiwan safely. That's an extremely selfless act. And that's another way of looking at Henry. He was very selfless, whereby he actually risked his health and welfare to go and make sure that Stephanie got back safely. And I'll guarantee you, if you were to ask him, would you do it again? I guarantee you he would say yes. And I think I will always remember Henry as someone who was very selfless and always caring about other people.
He's a dear friend, and he's a family man, and he's a good man. And I know him since maybe 5 years ago at TAS because of basketball. he devoted so much for school, not just for his own family, for the teams itself and for the community. That's what I appreciate the most. He's a great husband, great dad. Well, to Steph and Xiaojuan, be strong, be tough, and carry on your dad's legacy.
I'm Kim Kawamoto. I'm the athletic director at Taipei American School, and I met Henry 7 years ago. When I first met Henry, I just saw this smiling face saying, "Hey, you know, how you doing? I'm Steph's dad, and you know, it's nice to meet you, and we're excited." And the relationship grew as Steph got into high school, and she made the varsity team, so I spent a lot of time with Steph, and of course with the family, because they were there for every game that they could make. Henry would try to make it, I know, as a busy guy, but somehow he found his way to the majority of her games, practicing with her whenever he could, on the side, next to Jonathan's practices. They'd be shooting on the other end. He likes to eat, like I do, so we're both foodies. So one fond memory is he'd always say, "Let's go get some pho." I'm like, "Pho? You mean pho?" So that's one thing I'm gonna miss hearing from him. "Hey, let's go get some pho." But yeah, he's become a great friend, a great supporter of the school and the girls' basketball program as a whole. So Steph's senior year, we went to Singapore American School. It was a tough championship. Things didn't go our way. And the parents and the kids were upset. I was upset. But Henry was trying to instill in Steph. I can't do this. Sorry. He's trying to teach her that there's a way to go about fighting for something that you should fight for in a respectful manner. His bottom line was, I want to teach Steph how to fight for something that she believes in. So I hope that resonated with her. And I appreciated that as a coach.
He was a wonderful father who was an active member of the school community. He coached TYPA. He always had a smile on his face, and that is what I hope we can all remember. In Henry's passing, TAS lost a true tiger.
I see your dad in you, and those are great qualities to have, great values. Remember what he taught you, live those things. He emulated the person that I think he wants each of you to be: kind, giving, selfless, friendly, be a family person, treat others the way you want to be treated. All those things that you want a good person to be, he was that person. So I hope they think about their dad in that light and try to emulate what he did.
And he was always there. He's always been there for his family. He's always been there for his wife. And he's always been there for the TAS community. And I think that, again, really signifies, you know, Henry's and how many people he's touched in the community, family and friends all together. You know, he'll be surely missed, but, you know, he'll be surely remembered as well. You know, one of the reasons for doing this video, again, is to try to leave a remembrance of Henry, and also we would encourage people to add on to this video, or add on to the website, to the blog, or whatever you want to call it, and add some words, add your stories with Henry, add pictures, if you will, because it'll create more and more. And I think, you know, let's be honest, is that the family's going to go through some very, very challenging times. And again, if you want to donate to make sure that the family can make it through this tough time, I invite people to do that, because again, let's face it, there's going to be some financial challenges for the family. And if we can help a little bit or a lot, whatever is comfortable for you, I think the family will really appreciate that. You know, I know that our family talked about it, my wife and I, and we will donate as well. And because we know that, again, these are challenging times. And whatever we can do to help the family get through this time, I think they'll be very appreciative of it. And I'm glad you asked that question, and I'm glad I can have the opportunity to communicate that to all the family and friends and the community out there. Because again, you know, this has really touched home. You read about all the different numbers and all the data that's going on in the world, and until it hits your home, you know, it becomes real. And it's hit the community. Now you can say, wow, I know somebody who's actually been affected by this. But that's the front part of it. The back part of it, what about the family? They got to go on. And how can we help them? How can we support them? You know, it's real now. It's not a statistic anymore. It's not data. It's real now. And again, if whatever way you can support the family, you know, I know they'd be very open to it, and I know they'd be extremely appreciative of it. So thank you for asking that question, Dennis.
I hope everybody can share other stories about him, remember him, have fun, because that's what he'd want us to do. He'd want us to continue to help Jonathan and Steph as they get through life in these early stages. So I wish we could tell them that we are going to do that. We're going to be here for them.
For sure, at this moment, at this time, I think they will be needing some help. And if our friend or our community can do something for Wang's family, that will be a great help, I think.